right, well, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. It reminds me that from the very beginning in the planning through the construction, this entire community has been engaged with this project so that the city of Sioux Falls could realize and have a world-class event center, and that's exactly what we've got. When we started to actually get to this point today, we went out and hired a world-class architectural firm, and they've designed us one of the best multi-purpose facilities that operates today. Secondly, to pair up with them, we hired Mortensen Construction, which is clearly one of the leaders in the construction industry, building sports facilities of this kind and larger. This building opened in the fall of 2014, and from the very beginning, it has exceeded our community and our region's expectations. Fans from all across the state of South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota have enjoyed the events that this facility now brings into the city of Sioux Falls. To give you a perspective on assessing details when you plan a facility like this, when a large building gets built, one of the decisions an owner has to make is what is going to be that exterior enclosure that's ultimately going to protect the building, that is functional and also attractive. The Denny Sanford PREMIER Center has glazing, which is glass in the construction world. It has precast concrete, and it also has metal panels. It's got two different kinds of metal panel systems. For some time, there's been questions on the smoothness of the metal siding on the Denny Sanford PREMIER Center, especially on the west side of this facility. Though it's not as smooth as we envisioned, we have always been confident, working with our architect and our constructor, that it was functionally and structurally sound. In the fall of this last year, the mayor and the city council leadership met and said, to answer this question once and for all, let's bring in a third party, someone that specializes in building enclosure systems, to do an evaluation of this facility to ultimately answer this question once and for all. We went out for RFP. We selected the top firm, and that top firm was Simpson Gumpertz Heger out of that process, and their specialty is looking at enclosure systems. When we got them on board, we put them under contract in November of 2017. We sent them an extensive amount of information that involved the construction plans, specifications, construction photos, shop drawings. It was an extensive list of data that they could start with on their desktop to review what this enclosure system was. One of the things that some know, not everyone knows, is that when we were building this facility, we were also very concerned that we knew one of the biggest draws on the operational budget of a building of this size is how do you heat and cool it. So we brought in a third-party enclosure consultant at that time during the design, WJE, to review the details of sink combs to make sure that our enclosure system, everything from the outside metal panels all the way to the inside paint system, how they blocked around windows, how they insulated this building, was ultimately going to be very efficient. What that also translated into is we knew that gave us additional confidence that our building enclosure system was sound as we marched forward in trying to answer these questions. The three individuals from the consultant came into town on December 12th and 13th. They were up on high lifts. They were taking pictures, doing pull tests, taking a series of measurements. They also spent a considerable amount of time inside the building observing so they could ultimately write their report. We now have a third-party report that confirms the system is functionally and structurally sound, and the air-moisture barrier that was intended to keep the air and the moisture out is doing as it was intended. I do want to take just a few minutes and read you their conclusions from their study. And they're also over here on this board. Based on our visual condition assessment of the Denny Sanford PREMIER Center, we conclude the following. The metal panel cladding is generally installed according to the construction documents and shop drawings. The installation does not meet the specification requirements allowing for thermal movement. The metal panels generally appear to be fastened to the building per the approved shop drawings. The fastening pattern indicated on the shop drawings, assuming the fasteners recently provided by Dawson are the same as those used on the projects, is sufficient to resist the applied wind loads. There are no reports of leakage into the building. Water and air leakage do not appear to be occurring through the building enclosure, including the Imetco metal panel locations and opaque wall systems. Window systems need to be monitored to confirm that observed stains are not active water leaks. The visual appearance of warping, buckling, or bulging at joints is most likely due to the lap construction of a flat metal panel on a curved building. Tight transverse longitudinal joints between metal panels contribute to the appearance of buckling due to thermal expansion. To avoid this appearance, the panels need to be pre-curved. Long term, the appearance of buckling may worsen due to cyclic loading, and regular inspections could identify panels for replacement based on excessive buckling. Loose trim components need to be secured to the building. Inspect the building trim to identify issues with attachments. Set in sealant, mechanically attached with rivets, screws necessary. And then they have 4 recommendations. I'll read their first 2. Their recommendations are the following. Inspect the Imetco CF12 metal panels every 10 years to confirm that the thermocyclic has not resulted in excessive buckling in the panels or bends forming in the panels at the buckling locations. Monitor the windows during rain events to determine whether the observed stains are related to ongoing leakage. There's 2 more, I'll read them. Clean the butyl residue from the surface of the metal panels as described in the Imetco email and monitor for reoccurrence. And last, identify loose trim components. Set trim and sealant mechanically attached with rivets. One of the things that they had said is as they were up on a high lift, they did notice that some of the miscellaneous flashing that you flash around the windows, a couple of those rivets had pulled through, and then there was also a short metal flashing piece that was missing. So we're very satisfied with the results. Very qualified firm that did the review. And Mayor, if you'd want to say a few words.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Mark started his conversation with all of you today with just kind of a brief background in terms of how we got here. I'm going to do something similar, just to kind of kick us off just a little bit. And first of all, I think that just to take you back, there was some folks out there who just felt that building a new event center for our great city, that it would never pass. And in fact, there were some who did everything in their power to make sure that would happen. What ended up happening is that the voters overwhelmingly, approved that they wanted to invest in our new event center. Certainly, there were some other folks out there who said that there's got to be some cost overruns that are going to happen when we build it. Here's the reality: it was opened on time, it was opened under budget, and one of the great things is that 80% of the jobs that were created as we were building our new event center, they were from local women and local men. Some felt that we were going to overbuild our event center. Sellouts would never be a reality here. Well, what we found is that sellouts are the norm here in Sioux Falls. It's happened time and time again. Certainly don't have to take you back very far to the Garth and Tricia shows and the memories that they created. Right now, Sioux Falls, as you know, we are the 88th busiest event center in the world. We had set a goal, and it was a pretty ambitious one, and that was that we would run this event center, we would run this city government like a business. And when you're in business, that goal is to always operate in the black. So we set that as a goal. And thanks to the work of many, including the folks at SMG as well as in the city of Sioux Falls, we have proven that we can operate not only city government like a business, which we've done incredibly effectively, but certainly our new event center as well. Every year that this event center has been opened, it's operated in the black. The accolades certainly have been tremendous. And Mark, I know how proud you are of this and how much time and effort and sweat you put into it, and I thank you for your comments. But guess what, Mark? He's not alone when it comes to the pride of our new event center. We know the people of Sioux Falls are just unbelievably thrilled with its success and certainly proud of it. But also the people in this region, they're just so thrilled and thankful that, this quality of life investment, this economic development investment is so close to them. And then, yes, you get people cheering us on all across South Dakota because we made the effort, we took the risk to ultimately make this happen. The folks that I'm talking about, not only are they proud of what we've done inside the event center, they're actually very, very proud of what the event center is like on the outside as well. They've told us that time and time again. But as you know, regardless of the positive things, the constructive things that you tackle in life, you also know that you may have to prove that mettle once again. Regardless of the accomplishments that you have in your life or in your business or at the Denny Sanford PREMIER Center, you may have to prove your mettle one more time. And that's what we tried to do with this independent review. Is it something that most people felt was necessary? No way. No way. Including this mayor. Didn't feel that we needed to do it. We felt very, very strongly that we built one heck of an event center. However, at some point in time, again, you know this. You do have to sometimes prove that mettle. In this case, we felt the most prudent way to finally quell the conversation, the negativity, the naysayers, or whatever it would be. We felt that this would be a good investment. The results are real. They're real. The results are factual. They are. The results are independent. They are. And the results are immediate. I asked Mark, after some of the comments, some of the unnecessary comments that happened right in the beginning of the new year, many of them happened on Tuesday. When you started to hear some of these comments, right out of the blocks about, how this is occurring or how that is occurring, again, folks, I've done my best to try to be as positive and constructive and forthright with all of you, as has our team, including Mark Cotter and so many others. But what I did is I told Mark right away on Wednesday, I said, Mark, we've got to get this report as soon as we possibly can. And you bet, as I've often done, I said, I want this thing here by Friday, if at all possible. We got to stop this dialogue. I truly, Mark, thank you. The pressure that you put on, and again, please roll in my thanks to the independent team. But let me just say this, the event center has proved its mettle once again. Now, I certainly would hope that we could move on now, and yeah, actually use our time and our talent and our resources, not only at the event center, but also within city government. The city council team, our employees of city government, and yes, including this mayor. I hope that we can we can move on and focus our efforts now on capturing other opportunities or addressing other issues that we have in this town. And I'll end with this, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Mark, and we certainly want to answer any questions that you have, and that is this. I can't wait for the next Event Center press conference. I can't wait. I can't wait. My gut says it'll be a really productive and positive one. Mark, final thoughts?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I know we do have copies of the study today with us. We've also coordinated to have the consultant that did the report come to the city to present the report at the informational meeting on January 16th. And so if it works for your schedule, if you're interested in coming, come to that 4 o'clock meeting. It'll give you a chance between now and then to read the report, write down any questions that you have, and then you can ask them based on the document review, their on-site work that they did on the exterior and the interior, and then ultimately, as the mayor said, have your questions answered. So.